Most acts of courage don't look like courage. They look like missing a meeting, getting wet, taking the long way home. They look like a choice you make in 11 minutes on a train platform, not because anyone is watching, not because you'll get credit for it, but because there is a person in front of you and you have the ability to help. This is a story about a woman who had everything to lose and chose to show up anyway, and what happened because she did. This is The Umbrella on Platform 6, a story about strangers, courage, and the quiet cost of doing right. The rain started without warning. That was the thing about this city. It didn't ease you into anything. One moment the sky was a flat, indifferent grey. The next, it opened, not gently. All at once, the way hard things usually happen. Nora Bassett was standing on Platform 6 of Central Station when it began. She had a meeting in 40 minutes across town, a leather folder pressed against her chest, and no umbrella. She'd checked the forecast that morning. The forecast had been wrong. She pressed herself back against the platform wall with the rest of the people who hadn't planned for this. Office workers, an elderly man with a shopping trolley, 2 teenagers who seemed to find the whole thing funny. The rain hammered the platform roof and bounced off the tracks in a fine mist that reached everyone anyway. She checked her watch. The train was 11 minutes away. 11 minutes was a long time when you were wet and already late in your mind. She pulled out her phone, answered 2 emails standing up, and tried not to think about the presentation she'd stayed up until midnight finishing. It was a proposal, 3 months of work condensed into 12 slides. A pitch for a community health program she'd been developing since she'd watched her younger brother spend 4 months navigating a system that seemed designed to lose people rather than help them. He'd come out the other side. Not everyone did. She put her phone away and looked at the rain. That was when she noticed the boy. He was maybe 7 years old. He was standing at the far edge of the platform shelter, completely alone in the rain. Not sheltering, standing in it, as though he hadn't noticed or didn't care. He was wearing a school uniform, dark blue, soaked through, a small backpack on his shoulders. He was looking at the ground. Nora looked around for a parent, for anyone who might belong to him. Nobody was moving towards him. Nobody seemed to see him. She waited 10 seconds, the reasonable, socially acceptable amount of time to assume someone else would handle it. Nobody did. She stepped out from under the shelter and into the rain. It was cold. It immediately soaked her shoulder and ran down the back of her collar and ruined the careful morning she'd constructed around looking composed and prepared. She walked to where the boy was standing and crouched down to his level. "Hey," she said, "are you okay?" He looked up. His face was dry. He'd been standing in the rain long enough that his uniform was soaked, but his eyes were dry and very still. That stillness was what concerned her more than anything else. "I missed my stop," he said. "Which stop?" "Mercer Street. I fell asleep and I missed it, and now I don't know where I am." His voice was careful and controlled in the way that children's voices get when they are trying very hard not to cry in front of a stranger. "Okay," Nora said. "That's okay. Mercer Street is just 2 stops back. It's very close." She paused. "Is there someone expecting you?" "My gran. She doesn't have a phone." Nora absorbed that. "What's your name?" "Marcus." "I'm Nora, Marcus. Can I stand with you until we figure this out?" He looked at her for a moment with a cautious assessment that children apply to adults they don't know. Then he nodded once. She stood up, took off her jacket, the good one, the one she'd ironed the night before, and held it over both of them like a makeshift canopy. It didn't cover much. It was a gesture more than a solution. But Marcus moved slightly closer without being asked, and that was enough. She called the station information line. The automated system put her on hold for 4 minutes. She stayed on hold. Marcus stood beside her and watched the tracks with the focused attention of a child cataloguing details to report later. "Do you ride the train alone a lot?" she asked while she waited. "On Tuesdays," he said. "Gran works Tuesdays, so I go to the after-school club and take the train myself. I've done it 6 times. I never fell asleep before." 6 times is a good record. He considered this. "I was tired because we had PE and then maths." "That is a hard combination." "Yes," he agreed, with the gravity of someone confirming a long-held belief. The line connected. She explained the situation. Child passenger, missed stop, no guardian contact, platform 6. The operator's voice shifted from bored to professional. They would send a staff member to platform 6 within 5 minutes. They would contact the next station's lost child protocol. They would... "His grandmother doesn't have a phone," Nora said. "Is there another way to reach her?" A pause. "Do you have an address?" She looked at Marcus. "Do you know your gran's address?" He recited it without hesitation, the full postcode included. She relayed it to the operator. "We can contact local services to do a welfare check and inform the guardian," the operator said. "How long does that take?" Another pause. "It can be up to an hour." Nora looked at Marcus. He was watching her face with a calm, patient expression of someone who had already accepted that adults took a long time to solve things. She made a decision. "Never mind," she said. "I'll take him." She hung up and did the arithmetic quickly. Mercer Street was 2 stops back. From Mercer Street to the address Marcus had given her was, according to her phone, a 7-minute walk. From Mercer Street, getting back to Central and then across town to her meeting would take, she ran the numbers, too long. She would miss it. Not by a few minutes, by enough that it wouldn't be worth arriving. 3 months of work, 12 slides, a meeting she had requested, confirmed, and prepared for across 6 weeks of back and forth with a program director who had a reputation for not rescheduling. She stood on platform 6 in the rain with a 7-year-old boy who had fallen asleep on a Tuesday train and thought about what her options actually were. She could wait for station staff. Marcus would be fine. He was calm, he was safe, and the system would eventually work. It would just take time. time she didn't have to give. She could make a call, explain the situation, ask to reschedule. She had never asked to reschedule. She didn't know how it would land. She looked at Marcus. He had stopped watching her and gone back to watching the tracks. His uniform was still soaked. His backpack straps had left dark lines on his shoulders. He was waiting, the way children wait, without complaint, without strategy, with complete dependence on the adult beside him. She thought about her brother, about the people in her proposal who needed someone to show up, about how most of the time the difference between someone being okay and not okay was one person deciding the inconvenience was worth it. She put her phone in her pocket. "Marcus," she said, "I'm going to take you to your grand's house. Is that okay with you?" He looked up. Something in his face shifted, not dramatically, just a small, careful loosening. "Yes, please," he said. They walked to the ticket machine together. The train back to Mercer Street took 6 minutes. Marcus sat beside her and told her about his school with the unfiltered thoroughness of a child who had decided she was trustworthy. His teacher was called Mr. Obi, and he was strict but fair. There was a boy in his class named Theo, who was his best friend, except on Fridays when they argued about something, and then were friends again by Monday. He was learning his times tables. The 7s were hard. "The 7s are hard for everyone," Nora said. "Mr. Obi says that's not an excuse." "Mr. Obi sounds like he has high standards." "He says standards are how you show people you believe in them." Marcus repeated this the way children repeat things they've heard from adults they respect, carefully, with a sense that the meaning is still settling. Nora was quiet for a moment. "That's a good way to think about it." "Do you have high standards?" he asked. She looked at the window, at the city moving past in the rain. "I'm working on it," she said. His grandmother's name was Elaine. She opened the door before they reached the front step. She had been watching from the window, Nora realized, the way grandmothers watch windows when someone is late. She was a small woman with close-cropped grey hair and the upright posture of someone who had spent a lifetime refusing to be diminished. Her face when she saw Marcus cycled through relief and concern and something fierce in the space of 2 seconds. She pulled him into a hug that he accepted completely, backpack and all. Then she looked at Nora, soaked, jacketless, her leather folder still pressed to her chest by some reflex she hadn't released. "You brought him," Elaine said. It wasn't a question, it was an acknowledgement. "He missed his stop. He was on platform 6. Elaine held her gaze for a moment. Then she said, with a quiet directness that reminded Nora of Marcus, "Come inside. I'll make tea." "I can't, I have..." Nora stopped. She almost said a meeting, but the meeting was already gone. There was nothing left to rush toward. "Yes," she said instead. "Thank you." The kitchen was warm and smelt of something slow cooked, and the particular smell of a home that had been loved for a long time. Marcus disappeared upstairs to change. Elaine put the kettle on and set 2 cups on the table with the efficiency of someone who had made tea for people in need many times before. He does the Tuesday train himself, Elaine said, not defensively, just explaining. He's very capable. I don't like him being dependent on people for things he can do. He handled it well, Nora said. He knew his address, he knew the stop, he just needed someone to stand with him for a bit. Elaine looked at her. That's usually all any of us need. The tea came. Nora wrapped both hands around the cup and felt the warmth move through her palms and up her arms. She hadn't realized how cold she was until she wasn't. She took out her phone and sent the email, short, direct, honest. A child needed help getting home. I'm sorry to have missed this. I'd be grateful for another opportunity to present at your convenience. She didn't over-explain. She didn't apologize more than once. She sent it and put the phone face down on the table. Whatever came back would come back. Elaine watched her do this with the observant quiet of someone who understood more than they said. Important meeting? She asked. It was a health program proposal for people who fall through the gaps in the system. Nora paused. My brother needed something like it a few years ago. It took me a long time to figure out the right way to build it. Elaine was quiet for a moment. Then, what made you come back for him? You could have waited for the station staff. Nora thought about the honest answer. I didn't want him to be a waiting problem, she said. He was a person, standing in the rain. Elaine nodded slowly. She looked at her tea. His mother left 2 years ago, she said quietly. It's just us. I try to make sure he knows the world is mostly good people. It gets harder to believe that some days. Nora didn't say anything. There wasn't anything to say that wouldn't be smaller than the truth Elaine had just offered. They sat together in the warm kitchen while the rain continued outside. Marcus came back downstairs in dry clothes, his hair sticking up on one side. He sat at the table and Elaine put a biscuit in front of him without being asked, and he ate it with the focused satisfaction of someone reclaiming a normal afternoon. He looked at Nora. Did you miss your meeting? Yes. He thought about this. Are you sad about it? A little, she said, but not in a way that won't pass. He nodded, accepting this. Gran says some things cost something even when they're right. Nora looked at Elaine. Elaine was looking at her tea with a small, private expression of a woman who had said that sentence many times and meant it every time. Your Gran is right, Nora said. She left 40 minutes later. Elaine pressed a container of food into her hands at the door. The slow-cooked thing, whatever it was, with an expression that made it clear refusal was not a real option. Nora accepted it. Marcus stood in the doorway. Nora, he said. She turned. Thank you for coming back. She looked at him. 7 years old, dry now, steady, already rebuilding the ordinary shape of his Tuesday. A child who catalogued train stops and recited his postcode under pressure and repeated good things adults said because he was paying attention. Thank you for telling me your address, she said. That was smart. He considered this seriously. I'll remember the 7s too, he said, for next time. She laughed. A real one, short and warm. "I believe you," she said. She walked back to the station in the rain, container of food under one arm, leather folder under the other, jacket gone, hair wet, meeting missed. She felt, underneath all of it, something that wasn't quite peace, but was close enough to walk beside it. The email reply came at 5:30. She was on the train home, dry finally, watching the city pass in the dark and the wet. Her phone lit up. No apology needed. "These things happen. I appreciated your honesty. Thursday at 10. Does that work?" She read it twice. Then she looked out the window and thought about a small boy standing in the rain on platform 6, not crying, waiting for one person to decide he was worth the detour. She thought about the program, about the people it was built for, about the kind of world it was trying to make, not dramatically, not all at once, just one person at a time, deciding that someone else's difficult Tuesday was worth showing up for. She wrote back, "Thursday at 10 is perfect. Thank you." She put her phone away. Outside, the rain was finally slowing. The city was lit and moving and full of people navigating their own Tuesdays, missing stops, standing in the rain, hoping that whoever was standing nearby would decide they were worth a moment's inconvenience. Most of the time, Nora thought, they were. Most of the time, if you paid attention, so was everyone else. That was enough to keep going. That was, in the end, the whole point. The end. And that's where we leave Nora, wet, a little late, and somehow lighter than when the day began. The meeting came back. It always does when you're doing the right work for the right reasons. But what stayed with her, what will stay with you, I hope, is what Marcus's grandmother said. Some things cost something, even when they're right. That's not a reason not to do them. That's how you know they matter. If this story found you at the right moment, share it. Someone in your life might need to hear it today. Subscribe for a new story every week. Stories about ordinary people doing quietly extraordinary things. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.